Is the 2023 class going to be Kirby Smart's best defensive class that he has signed since he's been at Georgia? Now, on paper, I think it could be, but of course, a class on paper is different than a class in reality. But if we're talking about the best real class he signed, that's obviously the 2018 class that I'll break down in just a minute for a number of different reasons. But it's hard to say this is going to be his best class on defense because we just don't know yet. Number one, the class is still going on, right? There's still a number of defensive prospects that are going to sign with Georgia in this class, and I think they could end up landing one or maybe two more 5-stars on defense in this class. So on paper, if you look at it, I think it could be the best that he signed, but it's going to take a few years for us to go back and look to see, hey, is this class better than the one in 2018, in 2019, and even in 2020? So before we break into the 2023 class and take a look on, what it might look like on signing day, let's talk about what he did in 2017. Now, that was the class that really built the Georgia program to what it is today. It was an excellent class, and there were 3 guys from that 2017 class that signed with Georgia that were drafted: Richard LeCounte, Monty Rice, and Eric Stokes, who was the lowest ranked defender who was drafted, but he was the first-round pick in that class. Monty Rice was the 3rd-round pick. Richard LeCounte was a 5th-round pick. So overall, solid class with 3 draftees and a first-round pick. 2018, though, was a monster class overall and on defense, and that was easily the best defensive class that Kirby Smart assigned. Tyson Campbell was in that class. He was a 2nd-round pick, early 2nd round, could have been a 1st-rounder. Quay Walker was in that 2018 class. Remember him taking Tennessee's hat, throwing it across Georgia on signing day. Of course, he was a 1st-round pick. Channing Tindall was in that class. He was a 3rd-round pick. Azeez Ojulari should have been a 1st-round pick. He was a 2nd-round pick at number 50 overall. Devonta Wyatt, of course, drafted last year to the Packers in the 1st round. And then, of course, Jordan Davis, a former 3-star, drafted in the 1st round. So in that 18 class, 3 1st-rounders, 6 defenders overall taken. That's his best class by far. 2019, another solid one on defense. Of course, Trayvon Walker led the way, number 1 overall pick this past year, 5-star who played like it in Athens. Nakobe Dean, 5-star getting to Athens, left a 3rd-round pick. Should have been higher, in my opinion. Lewis Cine was in that class, 4-star out of Texas, who turned into a 1st-round pick to the Vikings last year. And if you want to count Jermaine Johnson, they did sign Jermaine Johnson, who went on to be a 1st-round pick. Hard to really call him a true Bulldog. So, in the end, 3 guys from the 2019 class were signed. 2 of them went in the 1st round. You also have guys like Nolan Smith, who could be a 1st round, who was in that class. Tresman Marshall could be a draft pick with a big year this year, along with Zion Logue and Tramel Walthour. So their career and ability to be picked in the draft is still up in the air. Solid group overall. 2020, Keely Ringo, Jalen Carter, both I have written down as future 1st-round picks in next year's class. MJ Sherman, a 5-star, needs to pick it up if he wants to be a 3-and-out type of guy. Nazir Stackhouse and Warren Brinson are also 2 guys who I think could be picked in the NFL draft when the time comes. So 2021, just too tough to tell early on to really get an idea of where that defensive group sits with the rest. Some talented guys, but we didn't see a ton of them last year. We'll see if Xavier Sori proves to be a 5-star or play like a 5-star. Smile Munden is another guy who I have high hopes for, who I think could be drafted pretty high. And there were a few defensive backs I think have promise to be picked as well. But talking in the 2023 class, if you ask me which one of these guys right now could be 1st-round picks, I think A.J. Harris has a bright NFL future. He's got the length. He's got the fundamental technique. He's got great footwork. He's got ball skills. He's a 5-star for a reason. And I think he has an excellent chance of being drafted in the 1st round if he develops properly. Janelle Aguero, hard-hitting safety, takes a great angle to the ball carrier, just leaves bruises when he hits. He's got natural instincts. He can also play the ball, covers a lot of ground in the back end. He's a zone cover guy at safety. I think he has all the potential in the world to possibly be a 1st-rounder. And I do think that one of the 3 linebackers will be a 1st-rounder. My guess right now is going to be Raylan Wilson, just because he's so young and so talented. There's still a lot of areas he can improve on, but he's the faster of the 3 inside linebackers that they have committed right now. And he's the guy who I think is best in coverage. He can also run and hit like the other 2. I think Troy Bowles has probably the better instincts, might be able to see the field first. where C.J. Allen, the 4-star from Lamar County, Barnesville in Georgia, might be the most physical. An excellent running back at his high school right now, just loves contact. Big, muscular guy who can also run really well for 220 pounds. I think they all have a chance to play in the NFL one day. But if you're asking me who in this current class could be first-round picks, if they had 3 first-round picks in the 2018 class, who could it be in this year's class? I think it's one of A.J. Harris, Janelle Aguero, and one of the 3 linebackers. Jamal Jarrett, if he comes anything close to what they would like for him to be as the next Jordan Davis type, big man in the middle, he's got a chance. Gabe Harris, 6'5", 250, who can get after the passer. I think he has a very promising career at Georgia. Not sure if he's going to be able to play at Valdosta right now. He's ruled ineligible due to transfer rules. We'll see if he ends up at IMG Academy. I think they're trying to appeal, but I don't think he's going to get it. But I don't think that's going to affect him at Georgia due to his super athletic for his size and can get after the passer. So who knows? I mean, the NFL loves guys who can rush the passer, get after the quarterback. That's where defenses stand out at the next level, and that's how you win championships. You have to put pressure on the quarterback. Gabe Harris is a guy who can do that. And we'll say there's plenty of, again, like I said earlier in the video, there's a 5-star or 2 who I think could sign with Georgia. Sam Mpemba, a big-time edge defender, former wide receiver. So he's crazy athletic, 5-star guy out of IMG Academy. I think that's coming down to Georgia and Miami. I've said that for a while now. If he signs with Georgia, which I can definitely see, he's a guy who has first-round talent, first-round ability, long, athletic. He's another guy who can get after the passer. So he's a guy to keep an eye on. Quay Rusall out of Montgomery, I think he's probably leaning towards Alabama now. I thought for a while that Georgia had a real shot at him and still think that, but I'm hearing a little bit more and more that he's probably going to stay in state with James Smith, who is a guy who I think is just trending away from Georgia now, who has a chance to be really good in college with NFL potential as well. Jordan Hall, big 6'5", 300-pound defensive lineman out of Jacksonville. Made a few sources down there covering guys like Carson Beck, Jaheim Singletary, and a few others. They rave about this kid. Didn't play on a very good team last year, but he's one of the top uncommitted defensive line prospects in the country. I think this could come down to Georgia and Miami. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Georgia were able to land him, put him by Jamal Jarrett. You've got 2 excellent defensive tackle prospects in this class. But Jordan Hall is a guy who I think is going to rise in the rankings over time in the 23 class. A lot of people think he could be the steal of Georgia's class if his ranking does not jump the way a lot of people think it could be. But he's insanely quick off the ball, looks like an SEC defensive lineman right now from a physical standpoint. Dude looks 25 years old, but he's strong and he's quick off the ball and he's got a lot of length to him. He's got big, strong hands. So if he develops the way Trey Scott would like him to, if he does sign with Georgia, which I think is a real possibility, he's a guy who could possibly be a first-rounder down the road. So it is hard to tell, but on paper, you're going to get multiple 5-stars in this defensive class, in my opinion, a lot of high 4-star guys. And on paper, it could be the best class on defense that Kirby Smart signs. If it's anything close to the 2018 class as far as development, getting guys to the league, I think this group could possibly lead Georgia to a national championship down the road. And maybe one year, if guys like in the 22 class that they signed, Marvin Jones Jr., Michael Williams, Dalen Everett at cornerback, if they turn out to be the 5-stars that they were out of high school, in a few years, Georgia's defense could be outstanding and be one of the nation's best. Again, it's always going to be one of the best in college football because that's what Kirby Smart does. He recruits the best. He has a staff that develops as well as any staff in the country on the defensive side of the ball. Will Muschamp did not forget how to coach. He's there. Glenn Schumann is the best inside linebackers coach in America as well as one of the best recruiters. Trey Scott is putting guys in the NFL left and right, and he just hired Fran Brown, who he thinks highly of. Coach Chid, outside linebackers, know what God knows what he's doing. So the guys that they're bringing in, I have high expectations for, and I expect them to play like 5-stars down the road. If they don't, they're going to transfer because that's just what we see. If these guys aren't sniffing any playing time in the first 2 years, I mean, there are plenty of guys in the 2020 class that are no longer on the team. Darren Branch, Jalen Kimber, Major Burns. So these guys figure out quickly if Georgia's the right place for them or not. If it is, they go on to be successful for the most part. If not, they have to find somewhere else to play. But at the end of the day, I expect Georgia to sign a top 5, possibly top 3 class in 2023 in the country. Wouldn't surprise me at all. The defensive class, the defensive part of the 23 class is going to be outstanding, and I expect them to add a few more talented players when it's all said and done. Guys, thanks for watching this video. As always, stay tuned to the next one coming up right now, and I'll see you over on Dog Post.